Okay, thank you very much, Ron. High praise indeed, and I hope if any of you have seen me do run a contest, I will say this right now, it is an entirely different experience from anything you've done previously in Toastmasters. If you haven't run a contest yourself, do take that opportunity. Primarily today, though, we will be talking about the responsibilities that you have as area and division directors around contests. So hopefully when I say this, there's no one in the room who's going to act shocked, but you have to run a contest this year. What? Yeah, sorry Rob, sorry Sylvain. Every area, every division, of course, needs to run a contest. That's why this is incorporated into our training. Now, I'm going to say something else. Beyond the fact, let's just say for a second, we chose Toastmasters, so they didn't have no more area, no more division contests, we're just doing club contests. Do you still need to know this stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do you still need to know this stuff? To support the clubs. When it comes to it, you, area directors, division directors, are the experts as far as the clubs are concerned on running contests. They're coming to ask you questions. So you need to be comfortable with your knowledge or with your ability to find the answer, really. When people email you a question and say, "What? I've run into this situation, how do I get out of this?" Or, what do we do? So let's talk today about what we're going to do. Have our batteries died? Our batteries died. All right. Or my computer's locked up. Bear with me, there we go. There we go. Okay, it was just not on focus. All right. So we're going to start talking about, let's talk about contests. What types of contests do we have and why do we run them? Then we're going to talk about preparing your contest. That's going to be the meat of what you're going to have to do this year is preparing your contest in January, February, March of next year. And then we're going to get a bit into speech contest rules. Yeah, we're going to do a few exercises where you get to dig through some books and look up the rules. Now, in Slack at 9:03 p.m. yesterday, I did post a link to the contest rule book. So you can use that if you have your computers. For the division directors, I gave all the directors a hard copy of it. We're going to get together in a group at some point, so if someone doesn't have a computer, they can make use of the hard copy in those groups. Now I will point out, and that link, as well as this, does say July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. This is this year's contest rulebook. It expires in 2 weeks. That's why I didn't print one out for everybody, besides costs. It's not useful to you very much after this session. There will be a new one come July 1st. Make sure you look at the new one. They do change rules. Every year they review the rules, they review the feedback, they make clarifications, they may actually change some things. So it's important to stay current with the current set of rules.
Do you have this presentation?
This presentation is in there as well. It's called S4 in the list of, I don't know if the presentation's in there, the workbook is in there. There is a workbook associated, so when Ron posted the workbooks way up in the channel, all of them together, S4 is the workbook you're looking for.
Davender posted a link to all of the training material in the deck channel, so if you take a look there, you'll be able to find it on the TI website.
Yep, so I'm gonna, you know what, I actually have that here.
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
training materials,
And we are in the contest.
yeah, we're in that one. There's a
Yeah.
workbook and then there's the slides, so you can find them.
Tony, I have a question just to make sure that I run our club's contest this year, and I think it's different. Sometimes they have the humorous contest, sometimes the speed contest. So
We're gonna, yeah, we'll talk about that and why we run what we run.
So the rules is also something.
You'll need to know what ones we're running, and there are certain rules that the district gets to put in place about who transitions from one to the other that you'll have to be aware of as well. All right, so let's get on. At the end of the day, the point of the session is you'll be able to name all the types of club contests that we run. You'll be able to explain to any club who's like, why am I doing this? Well, this is why you're doing it. You'll be able to at least hopefully walk out of here with some confidence that you're going to be able to put together a great contest. And you'll have some familiarity with some of the rules for contests, as well as some comfort with being able to go and look up and interpret those rules for yourself, should you be asked questions. So that's the intent for today. All right, so let's start off with quick quiz, our current knowledge. What type of contest does Toastmasters run? What are the types of contests we run?
Speech.
International.
International, yes, you want to make sure there are, because there's so.
Evaluation.
Evaluation.
Table topics.
I heard humor, yeah.
Table topics.
Table topics.
Not dedicated, no.
There's one more.
Language-specific contest.
No, these are, no, not language specific, just generic type of contest. There's one more.
Online?
Tate, yes, that is correct. If you're not familiar with it, for clubs that don't actually belong to a district, so there are some clubs who aren't part of a district,
Online.
or for clubs that are online clubs, for instance, or clubs that are in a prospective district, they have a contest called, that is a Tate contest. So nothing that we're going to run into, but you should be aware that it exists. So depending where you look, sometimes it says Tate, sometimes it says video. Yep, in that one, in the contest rule book, it does say video. In these slides, it says Tate.
Maybe it will change.
All right. So these are the types of contests that we can run. We don't run them all. Yeah, there they are. You see it says Tate. So let me ask this. Who benefits from contests? From us running contests, who benefits?
Participant.
All right, so when you say participant, you mean the contestants? It's the contestants, okay. Who else?
Members.
The members?
Members of the audience. The audience.
Okay, yeah, so let's go a little more generic and say audience.
Officer?
Sorry, Nadia, was that who you're?
Both the audience, but also the organizers.
Very good, yeah.
Organizers.
The organizers and officials.
Officials
So I'll say organizers, officials. All three of those are going to benefit from running a contest.
different.
So what are the benefits for? Let's focus just on contestants. What sort of benefits do we see for contestants?
Improve their speaking.
Improve their house.
Yeah.
How does a contest, say as opposed to just doing speeches in a club, help improve their speaking?
Because they will repeat the same speech a number of times.
All right.
Many times.
So there's the benefit of redoing a speech and doing it again and perhaps getting feedback in between and the improvement to that one speech. What else?
Become better.
Go ahead.
I think to present under stress, because in the contest, everybody was stressed, and I've seen it with very professional ones that they are so stressed, they are under tension, and they excel.
That's right. So one of the things I've noticed when I was first joining, before I started doing contests, is that I got really comfortable speaking in front of my club. I knew these people. These people were close. They support me. I could get up there and talk about anything. But of course, we're here to practice our public communication. Ideally, we're going to use it outside the club in the real world. And typically in those scenarios, I'm not so comfortable. I'm pretty stressed out. So the contest, which does add this element of stress and anxiety, allows me to practice my public speaking in that environment. It's still Toastmasters. It's still a supportive group, but I'm feeling that anxiousness. And learning to deliver in that experience, in that environment, is actually better preparing me for what I think is delivering communication out in the real world. So I agree with that totally. Delivering under stress. Anything? Yes?
You can learn a lot from the contest. You see a lot of high quality speeches, what works, what doesn't work. Great learning opportunity for that.
Yes, excellent. So that's both for the contestants, but I'd say that's definitely for the audience, right? The audience gets to see Toastmasters delivering speeches right at their best, top quality speeches. You get to sit there, absorb what they do. Hopefully a little analysis is going on in your mind, going, oh, that worked, that didn't work, oh, I got to try that. Absolutely. Paul?
Progress. I'll just say greater audiences, right? At the club, it's 20 people. At the area, it's 40 people. At the division, it's 100 people. At the district, it's a couple of hundred. At the international, it's
The world.
who knows how many.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're now practicing in front of a larger audience, and that's a slightly different skill. There's something that I know Ron's not, he's walked out. one of his experiences when he went through the contest, he went through international, he made it to the district stage. Everywhere he'd done, club, area, division, there's about this much size. The audience was slightly bigger in this. Suddenly on the district stage, he has a stage that stretches 24 feet. It's 15 feet deep. There's an audience now that's spreading out 300 people across the room. That is a different experience. You need to do things differently to deliver to that audience and be effective than you do in a smaller confined space. So it absolutely gave him that experience to try that. Absolutely.
And also using equipment like microphone.
That's true. That's true. It's most. How many here have actually given a speech with a microphone or a headset? Outside of a contest. Okay, there's been a few, but not that many of us have actually had that experience. And if you're ever doing any speaking in an environment which is to a large room, you will be mic'd. You will very likely be using that type of equipment. So once again, it gives you that experience, again, in the supportive Toastmasters environment, before you have to try it out in the real world.
And to
So
learn video also, another aspect.
although, I will say, yes, we do.
For the contestant.
The contestant can be videotaped, although if you're not videotaping yourself in your own club, I'm going to say, hey, you should try that. Videotape.
We have some.
Yeah, it's an absolutely great learning experience.
You see who you
I
are.
think one of the things that contest provides is the opportunity to self-assess. Because why didn't I win the first? Why didn't I win the second? So I've seen everybody, if I have the chance to see them, so usually I start looking into what I did. In regular speeches in the clubs, you don't really do that because the evaluator or your club talk about you, but you don't really see why you didn't get to the top.
Okay, that's very interesting because you would now have some sort of objective measure to achieve with your speech, which is ideally to win. And so you have very direct feedback. You didn't meet it, or you did. And if you haven't, why? And yes, you start thinking about that. Where was the shortcoming? Whereas in a speech, most of us meet our objectives when the project objectives when we deliver our speech. So perhaps there's less, impetus to really think about how that could have gone better. So I think that I agree with that totally.
There's also a judging criteria.
Mm-hmm. So
So you can see what makes an effective speech and what individual areas you need to improve in your speech in order for it to be effective.
okay, so everybody, I don't know if everybody heard that. You have a judging criteria in a speech, and of course, as a contestant, you're free to look at the judge's ballot and see how you're being measured. And so you get a sense of different areas that may impact your speech. Now, I will caution you, they're looking for a certain thing within that judging criteria. That's not the end-all, be-all to what makes an effective speech, but it is a form of measuring yourself and determining that. All right, so we've heard a lot of benefits. Certainly for contestants, there's that practice. For the audience, they get to hear some great speeches. How about the organizers and the officials? What benefit is them? Sylvain?
I think the first thing is work in team working, and also to manage the different possibility to learn in the leadership experience from such officer and for the other, more communicate. And it's a build-up of every quality for the Toastmaster who are engaged in the organization of the server part.
So if you didn't hear that, so he talked about how the fact that you have to work together in a team, and I'm going to highly recommend you area directors, don't do it all yourself, put together a team to help you put those contests on. But it is a direct exercise in team working, in leadership, and so for the organizer, and now you're an area director, you're going to be a leader of a team, your area council, but if you start to bring in other organizers, people from the clubs, this is an opportunity for them to expand some skills in that area. Anything else? Lisa?
Judges sharpen their listening and critical thinking skills?
Oh, that's very good. Yes, we're specifically on the officials for judges, sharpening their critical thinking skills and their listening skills. I think those are all very good, and I think we can recognize now that there are many benefits to various groups. The other thing I'm going to say is, for your audience, not all your audience may be Toastmasters. For your audience, they may be people you've invited out from the community to come and see this speech contest, which could be an exciting enticement for your community to come into the club and see what Toastmasters has to offer. So we should also think of these as marketing opportunities for us. Go out there, announce that there's a contest happening. We're going to have a speech contest. It's going to be speeches. Build it up, and you might start to see some people come in who wouldn't have come in for Toastmasters. Maybe they're not interested in Toastmasters right now. They don't really know what it is. But a contest, people like contests. They might come out for that. So an opportunity there to show off the best Toastmasters to potential members. All right, so those are a lot of benefits, and hopefully, if challenged by your clubs, you feel you could spend some time explaining to them why we go ahead and do contests. Now, we mentioned at the beginning, for you, as area and division directors, it's vitally important for two reasons. One, you're going to have to give your own contest and put on your own contest, but two, because you are the resource for the clubs for contests and answering questions, at least the first line of resource. Of course, you're not alone. Toastmasters International has an email address where you can send contest questions. They're very good about responding. It's not critical, they're not going to respond to you the next day, but within a week, usually I find I get a response. But District 61 also has a resource that you can reach out, an email. It's contest@tmv61.com. And that email will send out, and that comes to me, and I will try to answer you usually within 48 hours if you have any particular questions about contests. All right, so a few little trivia questions on contests. Which contest of these 6 must a district hold? International. I think we all knew that one. All right, second question. How many other types of contests can a district hold in the same year? That is correct. Sylvain's got it. Anybody else have an idea?
Up to 4.
Sylvain, do you want to let them know?
3.
Yeah, 3 additional ones. Up to 4 contests can be held by the district in a given year.
Including the international.
Yeah, the international is your 4th. We have, as video, we're not doing video in this district. That means we have 5 contests potentially we could hold, but we're only holding 4 in a given year. Now, when we had a fall conference and a spring conference, we certainly had no problem holding all 4 because at our conferences, and that is one of the important distinctions, any contest the district holds and club holds must carry all the way up at all levels, club, area, division, district. We hold our district contests at the conference. The conference has a limited amount of time. It's 2.5 days. Actually slightly less than that. We can only hold so many at that conference, which gives us, and we do hold them in both English and in French. So that limitation is what drives which ones we're going to be holding. We just have 1 conference this year, so that means we can't hold 4 different ones like we usually do. Now, we did discuss it yesterday about which contests we will be holding. I don't think the decision is final yet.
I'll just throw in 2 comments. I was talking to Kimberly earlier today. She had to go home because her body is saying, I need a break. But she wishes she could be here with us. We're considering the idea, and we'd love to hear your input, of holding different contests in English and in French. So in this way, we could bring in humorous and table topics as well as international and eval. The only contest we have to hold is the International Speech Contest in English. Toastmasters International requires that we hold that contest. All the others are completely open, and we have 4 slots, 2 in English, 2 in French. And so we're considering, having some interesting mental gymnastics as to which contest we hold. So something to consider. Think about it, and come to the next deck with your opinion and feedback. Maybe let your division director know so that can be filtered up as we try to make a decision that's best for the district.
Okay, thank you very much, Ron. So as you see, it's the district who's going to decide which contest, other than international English, will get to be held. So that's a decision yet to finalize for us. All right. We've talked about why we have contests. We understand why it's important for you to understand why we have contests and which ones they are. Let me ask this now. If our goal for each of us is to hold quality club contests, what goes into a quality club contest? What things do we need?
Contestants.
Evaluations.
Contestants.
Well, we definitely need contestants.
Evaluate judges.
So let me ask this. I'm going to say we want quality contests. So if you're going to say judges, is there a qualifier that you would add to that?
Training.
Trained judges. I like that. Okay, so we're going to have contestants.
Training the judges.
judges.
Contest officials?
We certainly need content, and so is there a qualifier for that you would add to allow us to
Trained.
train? All right.
Experience?
Officer timer.
Yeah, that's all our officials. What else do we need to do or add for a quality club contest? Think about your best contests there. What are the, what?
A plan.
A plan.
Organizer,
So let's, I'm gonna put that, planning.
planning.
They don't just happen.
An audience?
A script and.
An audience?
An audience, okay, so. Scripts.
The venue?
Location.
Oh,
That was your, all right, yes, we need a location. So again, sure, but what makes a location a quality that lends to a quality club contest?
Easy access?
Accessible.
All right. Anything else?
I think an accurate timer.
We need your rule book.
Accurate timer.
A timer. Well, that's part of the officials, that's what
Oh, okay.
officials, yeah, absolutely timer. But what about, anything else about the location? Accessible is a good one?
refreshments?
Oh, all right, let's add that.
Which,
So is that necessary?
Your question is what went into making it spectacular?
What would make it quality? Refreshments, all right, not.
Is it
I just
necessary?
want to
to-
put this down right now, but don't feel obligated that it is absolutely necessary you have refreshments. I mean, you have to do what your budget's going to allow.
Is it possible to educate club members about contests? Because I noticed that we push them into going to compete, but they don't know what they're going into. And sometimes they say no because they don't know what it is. Sometimes they say yes because they're so pushed up, they're confident, and they get there and they realize, oh my God, people are far better than I am. Is there a way?
So education for potential contestants is what you're
Yes.
talking about.
Train the
Yes.
people.
So it is something we've discussed. We don't have that right now, but it is something that we've discussed about adding. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the training we did create. It is only, if you will, the first step into the potential training that we can add. But we don't have something specifically for contestants yet.
Promotion?
Promotion, that's a great one. I'm gonna go over here. Even clubs can promote their contests. It doesn't just, in an area, we have a tendency to say, we tell the area, we tell the various clubs in our area, we tell maybe some of our fellow area directors, and they come out. But there's no reason that at every level, we can't be promoting and inviting the general public to come and enjoy our contests.
The
Ready?
material.
All right,
material.
I'm gonna say all material. There is quite a lot of printed material that's going to go into a contest, so it is important that we have that all.
Participation certificate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recognition, the trophy.
The trophies, the certificates for participation, certificates for first, second, and third certificate. Now, these are all great. What's your job? Now, what are you, as an area director, you as a division director, how can you help both your clubs and just even for yourself? What are some things you can be doing to help deliver these for your clubs, for yourselves?
Manage a team to prepare.
So let me write that down. So putting together a team to run your contest. I would highly recommend you do that. One of the things you'll note, and we'll get into the contest rule book, it talks about the various roles and who is responsible for executing those roles for a contest. The chair has a huge job because in the book, the chair is both responsible for organizing the whole contest, getting it going, and for actually running the contest on the day thereof. They use the chair for both of those. However, I find that's an excellent dividing line for delegating that second responsibility to someone else. So as area directors, as division directors, my recommendation to you is, yes, help organize your contest, but definitely delegate the chair to someone else. Why? A couple of reasons. One, not everything should be on you. Two, at the contest, you automatically become someone who can step in at the last moment when a judge doesn't show up. Your chief judge doesn't show up. Maybe the chair doesn't show up. So having you as that floating ability to step in at the last moment to save the day is a good thing to have as a backup. You're in reserve. What else can we do? I'm going to recommend one.
Training.
We, as area directors, division directors, have a much broader network than some of our clubs do. And so clubs often can be struggle to try and find some of those well-trained judges, well-trained officials. Now, at the club level, I definitely recommend we want to use club members. But perhaps as for judges, which can be difficult for them, we can help them bring in judges, find some qualified judges to help both at their contest, at our own area contest, at our fellow area directors contest, at the division contest. Sorry, I saw a hand back there, Margaret.
Well, I have my hand up because I thought if someone has already run one of these contests, it would be good to discuss it with them and they could offer tips of things that they would recommend in running a contest.
So we talk about mentorship in clubs, and we all talk about having a club, a mentor within our club who helps us with various activities. There's no reason that you as an area director should not in turn find a mentor. And you don't have to have one mentor for everything. You could find a club mentor for you, a contest mentor for you, someone you can talk to and say, oh, I got to run a contest, I've never done it before, and someone who's experienced and can help you through that. So consider that for yourselves.
And at the club level, the person in charge of the organization is the VPL. So we could assist the VPL in all those aspects.
So we could be mentors for the VPL. Yeah. So. The last thing was. Any other? Oh, no, yeah.
Well, to build on what you mentioned earlier, in terms of helping the clubs to talk about contests early on in the year, perhaps even incorporate that in as much as can, and inform your members so that they could maybe identify potential contestants for the first area visit, and that way they would be better members of the club prepared for contests.
All right, so since our contest season, I'll just paraphrase what Nadia said, since our contest season doesn't happen now for the clubs until the end of the year, beginning of next year, you have an area visit that you will be visiting, going out to your clubs well before that, and perhaps it's an opportunity for you to bring up contests to help putting that in their mind, help let them start to think through the things that they need to prepare in order to have a great contest when it comes time. So getting contestants, encouraging people like that.
And let them know that this book is available for them.
Share resources, such as the contest rule book. Let them know where they can find those resources for running those contests. I'm going to show you some training that we have online. You want to share that with them as well. So some other things that are suggested here. One of them is, of course, scheduling your own contest. Area directors, you will have to do that, but you need to do that within the framework of the district calendar, which we haven't, I don't think we've seen yet this session.
I posted version 1 in the deck channel earlier today. Have a peek.
In Slack.
Not if you're, in the Slack deck channel.
You have a specific period of time during which your area contest must happen. The division directors, you don't get to choose. It's been decided for you when your division contest will happen, and you have to have it on that day. But the area directors has some choice. Choose pair. You yourselves, of course, something you can do is know and abide by any and all contest rules, so that both for your own contests it can work, but you can also be that person of authority for the club contests.
Another thing that is not on the screen is the budget.
A budget, very good. We talked about planning. What kind of budgets do we have? Now, the budget hasn't been set and voted upon for this calendar year. As an example of a budget that was available from the district for contests last year, there was $25 for the area level for printing, and at the division level there was a $50 budget for printing and room, I believe.
Room is typically larger for district or for division events.
Okay, yeah. But that gives you a sense. So there's a budget, there's a small amount of budget put aside for that. That will be voted on later in the fall. You'll be able to know that before it comes time to actually, but it's very important is that you know what that budget is and can plan to it. All right.
Are there tools available to help with budgeting?
Are there